Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of decluttering here in our dining room, and it also doubles as our homeschool space. So I hope that this video is encouraging to you and maybe motivating so that you can get some things decluttered before you start back to school after Christmas break. A few years ago, I came across a book called Decluttering at the Speed of Life by Dana K. White, and you might know her. She's here on YouTube. She really recommends no mess decluttering. So that is what I'm trying to do today, and I hope that it will encourage you to do the same. And usually I wouldn't bring everything out to the table to go through it. I would just do it right where it was on the shelf. But to make this video easier to do, I thought I would put it here on my table. Now I have a few different boxes here. The one that you see on the right is everything that I need for our morning time and any books that I use for my older daughter for grading. So teacher's guides, things like that. Then the one that I'm going through here on the left is everything that I use for my son, mostly. My little 2-year-old daughter kind of joins us in on some things as well, but first, I like to go through and just look for trash. So anything that is literally garbage or something I need to recycle. And trust me, there's always something that I can pull out that just needs to go in the recycling bin. I don't even know why I've kept it. So that is kind of my first step here. The next thing that Dana recommends is to look for easy stuff. And these are the things that you know that it has a home, you know where it belongs, and so you should just take it there. She actually recommends just taking that object as soon as you know where it goes. And like I said, for filming this video, that would be a little bit tricky, but I keep a lot of my homeschool resources on the shelf that you see behind me. And most things are separated into whatever category they would belong to. So I just start to put things back where they belong. Now that this box is finished, I'm going to go ahead and get out my pre-K morning time materials. This is where I keep all of my gentle and classical press, teacher's guides, and other things that I use for my memory statement board. Here are some Manner of the Week cards that I decided to put on the shelf instead of keeping them there because I really only access those once every couple of weeks to put a new Manner of the Week up. I have a lot of flashcards that I had been using, but I no longer am using those cards because we've moved on. My son has learned his colors and shapes, and now we are moving on to letters and numbers. So I have this shelf that looks crazy inside, but it's sort of organized. This is another decluttering project for another day. But I go ahead and just put my cards away, and then his box is mostly tidied up. I recently got some new materials for my little kids to learn letters and sounds, and so I had to do a little bit of rearranging in that box so that everything would fit because I was doing all about reading materials and ABC, see, hear, do. So I've just kind of put a few things away to make some room for that. So now I'm starting to put things on the shelf where they belong. I've made some piles on my table, and now it's time to put them all away. So some of the decluttering questions that I like to think about sometimes are, first, where would I look for this item? And if I needed it, would I even know that I had it? Now, with the homeschooling materials that I have here on my bookshelf, like I said earlier, have everything categorized into different subject areas. So I just kind of think about, where would I look for this first? And I try to put it there if there's room. And what you're going to see here in a little bit is that I wind up having to rearrange some things because there wasn't enough room on certain shelves. And so I needed to move some things around to make more room. I had some things on this bottom shelf here that really didn't need to be there, but I don't really have any other good places to put them, so I decided to put them underneath of the bookshelf because that way at least they're still accessible. There's just little things like this easel. I like to put out our picture study card on there if I can, although sometimes my little daughter likes to knock it off the stand or move it around, so I'm going to try it again, and we'll see how it goes if I can wind up leaving it there. Now, one thing that I struggled with is with this particular picture that I put out is I couldn't figure out which direction that it needed to go, and I actually wound up having to look up, that is Tree Roots by Vincent van Gogh, and I actually had it upside down to start with. Now, a few probably months ago, I did a video about a homeschool book unboxing. I'll link it up above for you. I got a whole bunch of books from a friend of mine, and I still had them sitting here in a box on the floor because I hadn't gone through them yet. So today I'm just going to figure out which ones need to go here on the curriculum type of shelf and which ones I need to just go put on the bookshelf in the kids' room, because that's where we keep most of our picture books and things like that. This shelf here in our homeschool space is mostly just for books that go with some sort of curriculum, something like that. I also got a box of Story of the World curriculum, and I hadn't put it on my shelf yet either, but here I am. I'm trying to make things fit, and I realized that I didn't have enough space. So I do wind up putting things in a different spot later on, but first I decided to try putting the books on the shelf first and then the activity books in front of them, but that didn't work out very well. It's all about rearranging until things fit perfectly, right? Tell me down below, what do you need to kind of go through and reorganize before you start school back up in January? I would love to know what you're working on, especially so that I don't feel like I'm the only one with these situations. So this is kind of a little spoiler to what we're going to be doing next year for history. I still don't have everything exactly nailed down yet, so definitely subscribe so that you can stay tuned and hear what we wind up doing. But here's where I put the Story of the World storybooks up top, because I have a shorter shelf that I don't really have much on, because honestly the way that this bookshelf kind of lines up, I needed some really tall shelves, but that made one really short shelf, so we just make it work. But now I finally get the curriculum to fit on the shelf fairly well. Okay, so now it's time to recycle things and take things to where they need to go so that I can get rid of this mess that I was hoping not to create in the first place. It just takes a little bit of time to go through, figure out where you want to put things, and then take them there. Well, I hope today's video was motivating for you to maybe get a couple of things cleaned up and put away before the new school year starts. Here is how my homeschool space wound up looking later on. It is mostly cleaned up. It doesn't look much different than when we started, but at least the little bins are cleaned out a bit and I can easily find the things that I need to, and there's no more boxes on the floor. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and stick around for more homeschool motivation here in the next coming weeks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today at our homeschool table, and we'll see you next time.